The South Australian Bill to save babies after 23 weeks is going to go to a vote on November 12. We're going to have a huge rally. We're going to need all of you guys there to support Sarah Game's bill. But what we really want to expose today is the response of the Labor Party, because there's something really sus going on, guys. Last year with Ben Hood's bill, and their response this year to Sarah Game's bill, it couldn't be more different. It's like chalk and cheese. I have my husband, James Howe, with us today to unpack this. So many of you guys said you've got to bring him back when we had our first episode together. So I strong-armed him back today. Welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Joe.
I make him call me that. That's today on the Dr. Joe Show. So before we get in today, can I please ask that you subscribe to our channel? The more people that subscribe, the bigger our movement grows. So today we're going to talk about the South Australian Bill. And I wrote my husband in because so many of you guys said in the comments that you really liked that episode we did together. I really liked it too because it made me feel less nervous just having you there.
I'm not your security blanket.
Yeah, well, you kind of are, like you're my husband. So I really liked having him there. It meant that it wasn't all on me. We were able to talk about it together. There was actually a reason for you being involved in the last one because it was a media hit piece against both of us. This is a bit different now. I've just roped you into a general episode.
This is different because there's no reason at all for me to be here.
I know, but I like it. You guys like it, so I think you just...
Here I am.
Yeah, here you are, every now and again. So
it is what it is.
All right, so here's the thing, guys. Last year, Ben Hood introduced a bill to ban abortion after 28 weeks. The bill said you couldn't kill the baby, but you could deliver them alive. So it still allowed termination of pregnancy. It just didn't allow you to kill the baby. Now, the Labor Party went absolutely nuts to try and stop this bill. Do you remember it?
Not really.
Okay, well, I'll recap. He actually doesn't remember a lot of stuff. That's not because their response wasn't visceral. That's just because you forget stuff.
Or just the brain damage or whatever.
No, not the brain damage,
on.
but just you forget stuff, you know. I say,
That's
like,
true.
Can you buy bananas from the shops? And you come back with, like, mineral water.
And sometimes bananas.
Right.
Rarely.
Okay, so recap for you guys and for James. The Labor Party's response last year was visceral to Ben Hood's bill. They went crazy, really, really psychotic. You had MP after MP coming out speaking against Ben Hood's bill. So you had Katrina Hildyard organising briefings, you had Nat Cook, you had Susan Close, the Deputy Premier. There were so many that were against it. You even had Lucy Hood, who was Ben's own sister, but is a Labor MP. She came out against the bill. They really wanted to stop the bill. That is absolutely what they wanted to do.
Hold the phone.
What?
Ben Hood's sister is a Labor MP.
Did you not know that?
I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Until now.
All right.
I had no idea.
I feel like
that.
I've told you that before and you just haven't listened.
That's not true.
Okay, so yeah.
So how many Hoods are there in Parliament?
There's three, but
There's three.
Dennis Hood is not related to Ben Hood.
Yeah. But one of them is.
So
That's
Lucy Hood,
wild.
she's in the
Okay.
Labor Party and she's actually a member of Emily's List, although recently they've scrubbed her from the website. You'll have to watch that episode on that. The link will be below. So I don't know what's really going on there. But last year when Ben introduced this bill, Lucy did come out and she made a statement to the media about the bill and how she was against it, how she was against Ben's bill.
I had no idea. Anyway, carry on. I might have just forgotten that too.
No, I'm sure if you didn't know, most people didn't know. Yeah. Anyway, so they had a proactive response to try and kill Ben Hood's bill. And on the night of the vote, when it looked like it was going to be really close because it was down to one vote, Labor MPs were circling. They were furious because they just couldn't believe that Jingley had backed out of the pair after talking with me. And they were just going nuts. Do you remember it?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't just Labor. It was Connie Benares.
Your favourite person.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was going nuts. Yeah. They were like sidling up to Tung No.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, Tung No's a Labor MP. They were putting so much pressure on him to pair. He didn't. Good on you, Tung.
Well, they were very physically intimidating.
Yeah, they were.
So Connie Benares she had this snarl and she was just kind of snarling in his face.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you better pair.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like, yeah. We were sitting there, we were watching it. We might get sued for defamation for that.
But it's true.
Do you want to say it was your opinion?
In my opinion, it looked like a snarl, but that's open to interpretation.
Okay.
We might need to get like a canine expert on to assess her snarl next time.
Okay, so there was chaos going on the floor of the Parliament that night. I know that I walked outside the chamber and there was Emily Burke, Katrina Hildyard was there, Reggie Martin was there. They were doing everything they could to try and get a pair deal happening. People had come down from the lower house to try and make sure that somebody paired with Michelle Lenzik. And they got one. They got Dennis Hood in the end, and the rest is history. The bill didn't pass. Babies aren't being saved. But what's really interesting is that the response now that Sarah Games introduced a bill is it's crickets from all those pro-abortion MPs. Did you? Yeah, they haven't said anything. You know, even Connie Benares, who's not in the Labor Party but might as well be. She's a left-wing plant. She is radically pro-abortion. You can check out our videos in the link below on her. But even she has said nothing.
So what do you think's going on, Dr. Joe?
Right, okay. So this is where the plot thickens. In the media articles on the bill, and these are typically media hit pieces, only one Labor person is allowed to speak. And they're only letting one person come forward and say anything representing Labor Party position or Labor Party views on the bill. They're not allowing Katrina Hildyard to speak. They're not allowing Susan Close to speak. Kayam Ma, none of these extreme pro-abortion leftists in the Labor Party. They're not speaking, but they're sending out none other than Tom Koutsantonis, who's actually probably their most pro-life MP. So what they're doing is sending out Tom to throw cold water on the bill because they don't want it to pass. They do not want this before an election next March, but they're sending out Tom because they know that they don't want it to pass, but they also know that it's hard for us to attack Tom because he's actually really pro-life. So let's go through some of the
Human
things.
shield.
He's a human shield. Yeah, let's go through some of the things he said. So Senior Labor Minister Tom Koutsantonis said the time's not there for a bill on the subject of abortion to pass before the state election in March. Anyone who introduces a bill like that now knows it's not going to pass, Mr Koutsantonis said. So it's a publicity-seeking event rather than an attempt to do anything. There's 15 days of Parliament left before the election. The bill's not passing just because of time, not because of votes.
They're actually so much smarter than the Liberals.
They're so much smarter. Yeah, the
The
Liberals...
Liberals would just be, I don't even know what they would be doing, but
they-
whatever they'd be doing, it would just be really bad
Yeah.
and strategically foolish.
Yeah.
Whereas Labor,
So smart.
they're very strategic.
Yeah. I mean, that is so clever of them to throw it, to trot at Tom. Because, you know, when...
And the Labor Party, they always have one. They've always got a Tom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They keep one on
yeah.
deck just so that you can't say the Labor Party, which is actually quite smart because it's not the case in the US. Like the Democrats are wall-to-wall pro-abortion, wall-to-wall woke. You
Yeah.
cannot be conservative if you're in the Democrats. But in Australia, it's actually more intelligent, I think, in many ways because they keep these people around so that you can't say the Labor Party is the party of X.
The
wokeness.
radical left, yeah.
They'll say, oh, no, but what about Tom?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even Mally...
I think they do it on purpose.
Mally's promoted Tom to treasurer now, you know, and he's even gone on this big tirade about how he's anti-woke and he thinks it's all gone too far. And, you know, I really think this is strategic positioning from the Labor Party because if you remember on the night of the live births bill, Ben's bill last year, Tom was actually on our side. He was there. He'd posted on Instagram about how his own little girl had been born really early at 28 weeks and had posted a picture of her. It was the clearest message he could send that this bill made common sense, that it was right. And I appreciated the Instagram post.
Yeah. I like Tom well enough. but if he needs to go down to defeat this bill, I have no qualms
I don't want Tom to go,
in order to forward this.
I don't want Tom to go down, but I want to expose what's going on.
I actually couldn't give a damn about Tom. Right. Sorry, if you tie yourself to the mast of the Labor Party, then whatever happens next is on you.
Well, I appreciate Tom.
And by the way, we're talking politically.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a court of violence.
Yeah, we're not the left. We're not the assassins in this equation.
Anyway, on the night of the live births bill, Tom had posted that on Instagram. He also was there. He was there in the upper house, and he was trying to fight for our bill. So I really respect that of Tom when abortion up to birth was introduced in 2019. Sorry,
me too. I respect that.
2021. Yeah, you've got to say that that's good.
Yeah, it's true. But if you embrace the role of being used as a human shield, then. Well, I'm sorry, but there's not really much we can do. I mean, that's your choice.
I know, but
at the end of the day, this is politics.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to talk about what he said.
He knows the game he's playing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what he said to the advertiser and why it's wrong. But I do want to say, you know, on the night of the live births bill, so he posted... he was there trying to convince, you know, I think he was trying to convince Reggie Martin to vote our way. And
and he was working hard.
He was working hard. And when it transpired that the pair deal had blown up because I talked to Jing Lee and she wasn't going to pair and all hell broke loose, you know, and we saw the Connie Snarl, Tom was the one, because they then convinced Sarah Game to pair by lying to her. And Tom was the one that used his key card and let me go into that corridor to talk to Sarah. So
yeah. That's true. Yeah. He was great, but then I don't appreciate the way that he's pouring cold water on this bill at every chance he gets.
Because he's wrong.
I mean, how could you do that if, like, let's just say you do have a pro-life position, and what does that mean? Well, what that means is that you believe that we are slaughtering 87,000 87,000 children
Yeah.
in this country every year. Well, then when someone tries to restrict that evil, you don't use your voice to go and try and pour cold water on it and, poo-poo it and try to actually undermine it.
I know. And
I'm not sure that it's really, there's any excuse for that.
No, you're right, darling. And that's my problem with Mally as well, because Peter Malinauskas talks a big game about being like more socially conservative.
Well, Peter Malinauskas is 100% sold out.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any hope for that guy at all. He's a total fraud.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case with Tom. But
No, I know. I agree. I think there's a difference between Mally and Tom. I feel like Mally definitely wants to be Prime Minister. He cares about power.
He would throw anyone under the bus for that.
Yeah. And I feel, is that defamatory?
No, it's just my opinion.
We just can't afford to get sued. We've got 5 kids. So
let Peter Malinauskas try. Can you imagine the episodes of the Dr. Joe show? We'd have some good content.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In fact, if Peter Malinauskas did sue you for saying that he'd throw anyone under the bus. But I think that's the thing about Mally. Like, he is the Premier of the state. 79 healthy babies have been injected with poison under his watch after 23 weeks, up until birth. They could have just been born alive. He actually could have used his power for good and done something, but both years he's poured cold water over this bill. Like, he's the Premier. If he'd wanted this bill to pass, it could have honestly passed. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, of course it could have.
Yeah, and that's why what Thomas...
And it would have been a hit to his power, probably, at least in the short term.
It would have upset the lefties in his party.
Yeah, it would have upset the leftists, and it would have, But ultimately, if your power is your guiding, like, North Star, that's just another way of saying that you are a very corrupt person. Yeah. That's what I believe. Yeah. Like, it's understandable there's a temptation there, but ultimately these matters go beyond our own personal ambition when you're talking about mass murder, which is what this is. This
is what this is. Let's just look at the substance of what Tom says. So Tom says in this, he says, it's a publicity-seeking event rather than an attempt to do anything. There's only 15 days left of Parliament before the election. It's not passing. Now...
And to be fair, he is careful with his language there. He's attacking the logistics rather than the intention of the bill, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, and Tom would vote for this bill. I know that.
He would definitely vote for it. And so he's saying, look, let's be honest here, just from a administrative perspective, this is not going to
But he's wrong.
In the timeline.
He's wrong.
Yeah, and
he's wrong. Like,
well, do you want to explain?
Yeah, he's wrong because, okay, so in 2021 when abortion up to birth was being introduced, David Spears introduced an amendment that said if the baby was healthy and they were viable, so after 23 weeks, you couldn't kill them. You could do anything you needed to save the mother's life, but you couldn't kill the baby. And so that amendment failed, but at the time, Peter Malinauskas, Tom Koutsantonis, Vincent Tarzia, the leader of the Liberals, they voted for it. So the current leadership of this state, the Treasurer, the Premier, the Opposition Leader, they all support Sarah Game's bill because Sarah Game's bill is just a replication of that David Spears amendment. So it's not a complex bill. It doesn't need a lot of time. It's been discussed and voted on before. And so if Peter Malinauskas and Tom Koutsantonis wanted this to pass, they could. It could pass in the upper house on the 12th of November, and then it could go down to the lower house in the last week of November, and it could pass.
And what would be the mechanism by which they would make it pass? Because isn't it up to the individual politicians? Like, it's a conscience vote. So.
It's a conscience vote, but leadership really matters. Leadership really matters. If you think about abortion up to birth being introduced in Victoria in 2019, it had in New South Wales in 2019, it had the support of Gladys Berejiklian. In 2021, when it was South Australia, it was Stephen Marshall. In 2024, when it was implemented in WA, it had the support of Roger Cook, the WA Premier. There's no Australian state, I think, that has introduced abortion up to birth. Now, I'd have to verify that, but I'm pretty certain every single state and territory that's introduced abortion up to birth, the Premier has supported that law.
Yeah, and because I think what's important to mention is there are some radically pro-abortion nutters in the Labor Party, but there's also a lot of people who are just like an empty husk of a man/woman.
They exist in the Liberals too.
Yeah, they're the Liberals. That's like 95% of the Liberal Party. But anyway, but they'll just do.
I just want to say, not Alex Antic and his crew. They're awesome. Ben Hood.
Agreed. Yeah. I said 95%, not 100. Anyway, and those people will do whatever their dear leader tells them because they know that's what will get them.
Pre-selected
favour.
Yeah, ministries, all of it. So Tom's wrong. The bill could pass in the upper house on November 12th. It could go to the lower house. And then the other thing is, because Mally's the premier, he could actually allocate government time to this bill. So he could make it government business. Chris Minns did this in New South Wales to support a radical abortion agenda of Amanda Conn. He gave it government time. He removed government business and he allowed that bill to be debated and voted on. Now, if Malinauskas and Tom Koutsantonis actually are pro-life and they want to support a sensible measure like Sarah Games' bill, saving healthy babies from being injected with poison, they should give it government time. They should allow this to pass in the lower house in the last week of November. It's possible. That's the thing. Like I think that's what is really frustrating me about Tom, is that he's pouring cold water.
Well, he's not just pouring cold water on it. He's saying, here's you idiots struggling to try and save babies. And then he's not doing anything at all to actually lift a finger to help. Do you understand?
Yeah, I like to think that he does in the party.
Yeah, but his party is not his voice. You know what he is saying. You know, like because it's a little bit like if you were in a situation where someone was running into a river to try and save babies, and you were like, you don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
And you could actually jump in the damn river alongside them. I know. And then save them.
I agree. You know? And I think this comes down to, what do we expect of politicians who say that they're pro-life? Like, we've called out Dennis Hood time and time again on this channel because he wore the badge of being pro-life throughout his entire career. He was known as the pro-life politician. He was pre-selected by pro-life voters. And then when it came down to it, he was the one that stopped the bill last year proceeding, stopped it going to committee stage because he paired with Michelle Lenzik. That's not pro-life, is it?
No, Doctor. It's not pro-life at all, Dr. Joel.
I don't make him say this stuff. You genuinely think this? Yes. Yeah. I know. Why are you looking at me like that?
And I genuinely call you Dr. Joe.
No, that's not because I make him. That's just because he's being, like, facetious. And then for Tom Koutsantonis, who's a pro-life MP in the Labor Party, I think we would expect, at the very least, that when we introduce a pro-life bill and we, like, blood, sweat and tears, like, it is so hard going up against this agenda, but when we do it, you don't throw cold water on it. And, you know, our friend Helen Karakalik from In Daily, do you remember her?
Yeah, she's fun.
She is fun. So she tried to write a hit piece, a second one, on Sarah Games' bill. I say tried because nobody reads In Daily. It's, like, literally got a circulation of about 50,000 at best. You know, we're reaching millions on all of our channels. So it's, you know, it's an attempted hit piece. She's got this hotline to Tammy Franks, or Tammy Franks has a hotline to her. And so the first hit piece she did on Sarah's bill was just like paragraph after paragraph quoting Tammy Franks. Now Helen's done a hit piece. It quotes Tom, but we'll get to that in a minute. And it's called Sarah Games Stalls Abortion Bill Vote. Sarah Games' controversial abortion bill has been delayed, but the Fair Go for Australia Polly ruled out rumours it was because a different protest group had booked the Parliament House steps. Like, this is not an article. Like, this is not, Sarah Game had never announced that she was going to bring her bill to a vote now. She'd not announced that. I hadn't announced that. This is just a hit piece from Helen Karakalik. Do you remember her? We talked about...
By the way, it's just interesting because you could literally do this with any issue. You could just say, the reason you didn't do a vote today, was that because a different protest group had booked the Parliament House steps? And then Sarah Game just goes, no. And you go... Wow, Sarah Game denies. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what passes for journalism from Helen Karakalik.
Yeah, it's just a hit piece. Like, it's just a blatant hit piece attempt to use Tammy Franks to, you know, sabotage the bill. Should we just do a quick recap on Helen Karakalik? I've printed out some of her tweets.
Sure, go nuts.
No, I was going to get you to do it.
Okay.
Because we did do this episode.
All right, so just start with, she's a she-her journalist living on Ghana land. Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably about all we need to read, really.
But the point we make in our episode previously is, through her tweets and her Instagram profile, you can really see she's just a rusted-on leftist. Like, there's not a single leftist issue.
All right, well, let's just read one at random. In honour of Pride Month, I was very fortunate to speak with some lovely people about the importance of allyship for this story. I learned a lot writing it, and I hope you can learn something reading it. Guys, do yourself a favour. Track that article down and read it. Yeah, you're going to learn something important.
So she's not just aggressively pro-abortion, which we can see from her tweet in 2020, but she's, Festival of Climate Change, really into boys being girls and playing in girls' sport. Invasion is a structure, not an event.
Yeah, and what about this? Not only is this dripping with Christian elitism, but it consistently manipulates the timing of Easter long weekend to align Pell's plight to Jesus. This in itself reflects the inflated egotism and glorification of the role of cardinals that organised Christianity enables. Wow. So, and we made the point on the Dr. Joe show, imagine if she'd said about a gay couple who had started a cafe in downtown Adelaide. Not only is this cafe dripping with homosexual elitism,
you just couldn't say it.
It wouldn't go well for her.
Yeah. So she's like,
and so this is just blatant bigotry, which she feels free to express for whatever reason in this. Even as a public figure.
So she hates Christians and she loves everything from the left. Not a critical bone in her body, as well. Like if you just look at all of her tweets, that she's just accepted leftist agenda.
It's the sense.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm not.
Do you guys agree? He gives me these looks. No, you give me these looks. Okay, so anyway, in this hit piece, blah, 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 Tammy Franks says, to my knowledge, all upper house members were ready to vote on the Game How bill this week. Franks told in Daily. That's not a story, is it? Not a story.
No, doctor. No, it is not.
Don't call me that. So the Helen Karakalik article is just a joke. It doesn't add anything to this. But I guess what I just wanted to
I half think she just wanted to do this to like show us that she's not afraid.
Yeah.
You know how we did a video exposing her ridiculous bias in her journalism.
Yeah. So we did a YouTube.
I think she's like, I'm going to write an article about their bill and I'll show them. I'm not scared. And so she just wrote this ridiculous nothing burger of a story.
Yeah. And which no one's read, and we shouldn't really be giving attention to it, but it's kind of fun.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah. And I think to bring all of this to a close, I think the thing I need you guys to know is we are bringing this to a vote on November 12th, and we need you to turn up to when we do letterboxes, but also particularly to the rally. So we're giving you a lot of notice. There's, I think, 3.5 weeks till our rally. What?
You sound so threatening.
Oh, what do you mean?
Every time you talk about the rally, you're like, we're giving you a lot of notice. Okay, so there won't be any excuses.
Yeah, I know. But I need people to understand how important these rallies are.
This is true.
Yeah. And I mean, we had someone over for dinner the other night who's amazing and been helping me out with the pro-life work. But even
he hadn't heard about the rally, and Dr. Joe just wants to let you know that that's not good enough.
Yeah.
If you think that's an excuse, it just isn't. Okay.
So at the dinner table, I did say to him, when I learned he hadn't been at the rally, I was like, why didn't you go to the rally? At which point James kicked me under the table.
And he said, I didn't know about it. And Dr. Joe said, not good enough. You absolute joker. Get out of our house.
Yeah, that's not what I did. I didn't say get out of our house. But I was like, what? You know, it gave me hope on some level that this guy who's pro-life didn't know about the rally in South Australia, because that shows that, you know, if you guys forward this video on, if you spread the word, we can actually, there's so many people that we haven't reached that we could reach. And I think that's the thing. Like with the first rally that we had to introduce Sarah Games' bill, we blocked one lane of traffic and about a couple of thousand people turned up. But if we blocked all 4 lanes of traffic outside the parliament and, you know, we had 10,000 people, this bill would pass. And I think that's the thing I need you guys to realise, because Tom Coote says, this bill can't pass logistically, there's not enough time. There is enough time, but there's no political will, because the Labor Party thinks if we don't talk about it, we don't trot out our pro-abortion MPs, then Joe can't attack them. We'll just send out Tom because she's not going to attack Tom because Tom's pro-life. And they're just hoping that this bill fails in the upper house, that it just goes nowhere, and that they can then have a clean run in the March election next year by showing us how pro-family they are. You know, like I know that's what they want to do. And I think it's our job to make sure that we don't let them, that we actually wake up and turn up on November 12th to our rally to support Sarah as this bill goes to a vote. Do you have anything to say?
No, I think you've summarised it very well.
Thanks, darling. So thank you very much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Dr. Joe.
Are you going to come back?
I'll try not to, but I'm not sure if I'll have a choice. So.
You won't have a choice. Maybe like every 4th or 5th episode, we bring James back. Put in the comments if you agree.
Also, feel free to say if you disagree. I'd be totally fine with that.
Oh, no. I think we need him. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching us. Don't forget, Rally November 12. We also have I forgot to mention, stop, don't get bored.
I'm not getting bored.
I forgot to mention we've created this really cool tool so that you can write an email to your MP. It takes less than 5 minutes, but it will go to all of the key upper house MPs. It'll also go to the Premier. So the link to that tool is down below. It will take less than 5 minutes of your time, but it will enable you to send a personalized email. We've used some really cool technology to put it together.
It's called AI.
I didn't want to say
I don't know if you guys
AI.
have heard of
Yeah,
it. What do you think everybody's thinking?
I know, but it just makes it
How
sound
stupid
like...
do you think? What are they thinking? There's like a little guy in a box with a typewriter. Just like,
No, but
of course it's AI. It's a personalised note.
I know, but it is a personalised note because you'll be able to write a few keywords in and then AI will make it for you. So
This tool.
shut up.
right.
Okay, so please, links below to a couple of the videos we've referenced here, but also to that AI tool to write to all of the MPs. We need you to do it, and you got to turn up to our rally. That's all of it. That's it. That's today on the Dr. Joe Show.